Hi everyone. So I'm Shalini. He's Avinash, he's my husband. So we stay in Prestige Song of the South. We've come here newly, and this is for us to talk about RK Space designers and our experience with them, which has been really amazing. So yeah, I'd like to share about it.
Yeah, our first interaction with the RK Space designer was when we bought our flat, and we were looking for an interior designer. Uh, we did go through a lot of big names in the industry, and we also happened to come across RK Space designer, uh, their website on the not website, the YouTube channel, and which was suggested by my son. He was doing the filtering for all the interior designers that could help design our flat, and we came across Arcade Space designers, and then that's when we decided to meet them, and we did call a couple of interior designers to visit our unit on a given day, and which included RK2. And what turned out to be their USP was that they kept up their time, and we decided to meet them at a given time, and none of the other interior designers were there at that time, on that particular time, and only RK designers came up and met us at at that at that given time, and that was my first impression about RK, where I said yes, if they can keep up time at this very uh, initial point of our discussion, which might not be as important to them, I think then they're going to deliver, and that was where I decided that I will go ahead with RK. For the first instance, I was really impressed that they kept up their time. Yeah, so we did post zeroing down on RK designers. Then decided to go ahead with them because we were impressed that the timelines were met and things. Post that, when we deep dived into the experience, I think that we had a very difficult situation to handle, where we had only a month's time, uh, and that's what I discussed with them, and that the unit should be ready within a month. And they did the analysis and then came back to me and said, yes, we will be able to deliver it within 30 days. And I was skeptical about it because I was not very sure that they're going to do it. But then I think the entire experience of us designing the flat, designing what kind of interior should go in, I think it was a very, very pleasant and a homely situation. It was like discussing with a friend, with a family member. They came over to our house, we went to their house late in the night. It was at 11, 12 o'clock, we were discussing on what color should go into the kitchen, what should go into the bedroom. And there was no limitation in saying, they had basically no time restrictions in terms of telling, no, we can't do it, it's late in the night. Very approachable, very, I had a very pleasant experience with both Rachna and Somilu, who heads this organization. And I think on the flip side of what I've heard from people with the big players in the market, with the big, both my wife's friends and my friends who have done interior design with the big players, have said one thing where they have lacked is their communication, the time of delivery. They commit in 2 months, and they take 3-4 months. They overshoot the budget in terms of the finance and the timelines. And I think when it comes to this, I think both my wife, myself, and both my kids, I think we have made the right decision, because even they were involved in the decision making to go ahead with RK. I think it's a very, very pleasant surprise. They stuck by the timelines. 30 days was 30 days, and I got my house key with the interior work completely done on the 29th day that was promised to me. And I think hats off to them. They did a good job. They did stretch a bit, yes, but one thing is what they kept their timelines, and I thank them for that. Another important thing that comes to my mind is that on the budgeting, I had a very restricted and constrained budget, and what Somal did help me with is he worked around my budget, and it was a very budget-friendly approach that they gave me, and he ensured that he marks down what is important to me, and build around it. And I find the quality of delivery is amazing. Quality of products used is what was promised and designed. What was promised by them initially in our discussion with them. And I think in terms of the overall budget that I got this done was very attractive to me. Yes, and I think with all this experience, I would just like to sum it up in terms of recommending this to people who are looking out for their interior work. I think this is a very good homely kind of approach they do to a very professional way of delivering things. Their approach is very homely, but in terms of delivery, the standard of delivery, I would definitely rate it very high. I would give them a 9.5 on 10. If you agree with me, if not 10, I'm just trying to be very strict in giving that. There are areas where there were problems, but what I'm looking at it is that Somal immediately jumped in and got that solved. I've called him, even the smallest screw not being tightened, I've called him, which I could have done it, but then I've called him, and Somal was there in the next couple of hours with his carpenter to ensure that is also sorted. It is not just the kind of quality, it is a relationship that we have built with them over the past 2 months. It is a quality of work, and it's also after work, the kind of service they give it. It's amazing. Overall, I think we've got a good friend. It's not just got our interiors done. I think we've got a good friend and a good companion that we can go to and maybe have a glass of wine with them.